Scott?
All right, Tess, we've been talking about all this weather, but you know what it's time for? Spring break is next week for our local universities. Good time for college students to take a break from their studies and go have a ton of fun. However, it also brings more chances for students to get into trouble, which of course we don't want to see. So what do parents and students need to know about that? Criminal defense attorney Josh Kolsrud is live in the studio to talk about the possibility if you were ever to get in trouble. I'm sure you never did on spring break.
Yeah, never did.
Okay. All right. So when do you know that you need to get a hold of a lawyer if you happen to get in trouble?
Sure.
I mean, at what point, what kind of trouble?
So, I mean, when you're on spring break and you're a young person and you're kind of caught up in having fun, you oftentimes don't feel like you're going to get caught or get into trouble. But when you do, you know, the most important thing is, number one, always be polite to the police officer who stops you. And number two, don't lie to the police. And number three, don't admit to anything.
Oh, don't admit to anything. Okay. I suppose this also has a lot to do with whether you're in the States or you're in Mexico, because we know that things are much different in Mexico.
Oh, sure.
So,
you know, especially for students, college students in Arizona, you know, Mexico is always an option for spring break. But the difference is in Mexico, when you get caught by the federales or the municipal police, you don't have the same constitutional rights that you do here in the United States. And, you know, the most important thing in Mexico is if you get in trouble, the first thing you do is contact the American consulate.
Okay.
They'll make sure that you're not mistreated, and they'll hopefully get you in contact with an attorney. The second thing is, you know, don't pay any bribes. You know, in Mexico, paying bribes is illegal, and oftentimes it can get you into more trouble.
But everybody does, though.
Yeah, but you have to be very careful, especially because of the organized crime down there as well. And lastly, I was talking to my wife, who's from Mexico. She said, and I agree with her, you know, if you're a student, don't drink and drive in Mexico, because the federales are actually looking for Americans who are driving at night, and it's just going to give them an excuse to pull you over.
What kind of rights do you have? Let's say you're stopped by police with all of your friends. Maybe there's some fake IDs involved, maybe some drugs, maybe they're not even yours, but you're guilty by association. What kind of rights do you have?
Yeah, sure. So let's say that you're driving and there are drugs found in the vehicle. You know, there's a principle called constructive possession, meaning that if the drugs are readily available to be possessed by you, even if it's not actually on your person, the police can still charge you with possession of drugs.
Okay.
And then with fake IDs, let's say that you have an ID that is completely fake, you know, the fake name, fake picture. In Arizona, it's a Class 1 misdemeanor. But let's say you have a fake ID that's actually a real ID, that it's somebody else's ID. Let's say, hypothetically, you know, you're 18 and you borrow your big brother's ID and you use that at a bar. That's actually forgery, and you can be charged with a felony. And if you're convicted, you know, that obviously will have extreme ramifications on your job prospects, you know, getting into college, law school, medical, and so forth.
It's a lot to think about. I mean, you can go have clean fun without getting into trouble.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so not to be like we're your parents or something, but you just definitely want to be careful. You don't want to ruin your future, for sure.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, Josh, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's always good talking to you.
Yeah, thank